Hello, my friends. Master Sommelier Peter Neptune here with another episode of my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, as always. Subscribe if you can. It helps the algorithm. And check me out at www.neptunewine.com if you want to take classes with me here in Southern California. Today, I'm doing a request of Trader Joe's wines, and this is a particular request of reviewing some Trader Joe's wines from France under $10, under $10 a bottle. Can we find some drinkable wine under 10 bucks a bottle? And if we can, run and go buy it, because that is awesome. And so I chose a couple wines, a Touraine Sauvignon Blanc, we have a Medoc, and we have a GSM blend, Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre blend from the Languedoc. So first up is this 2023 Van Noble Lachateau Touraine Sauvignon Blanc for $6.99. Now, Touraine is located in the Loire Valley. It's a district in the Loire Valley, and it has within it a number of very high quality appellations, mostly for Cabernet Franc and for the Noble Chenin Blanc grape. But the eastern section of Touraine is known for the AOC Touraine, and most of the wine produced is from the Sauvignon Blanc grape. And it's always been a very, very affordable alternative to Sancerre, which is nearby. But, you know, now Sancerre is in the 30 up range. And of course, Sancerre is one of the world's great Sauvignon Blancs, if not the greatest. But it's always great to find an alternative, particularly for $6.99. I've always been a champion of Touraine Sauvignon Blanc, and I've always recommended them to my students because it's a really typically great alternative. So let's dive in, check it out, and see whether or not this is a drinkable bottle of wine. Pale lemon green, and on the nose, very typical Sauvignon Blanc aromas, medium plus intensity, very youthful, and right off the bat. With Loire Valley Sauvignon Blanc, I always do get a little bit of the kind of grapefruit character, but even more so a gooseberry character. A lot of people aren't very familiar with gooseberries, particularly in America, but they do make gooseberry jam, they make gooseberry pie. It's a kind of a sweet and sour. It grows on a hedgerow. It literally looks like it's growing on a vine, but it's a really green, pungent, piquant fruit character. It's a berry, of course, but we get gooseberry, grapefruit, very typical Sauvignon Blanc expression, elderflower, lime, a little bit of lime blossom, and a little bit of underlying minerality here. So it's very typical Sauvignon Blanc character. Wines from Sauvignon Blancs from the Loire don't have that pungent passion fruit character that, for example, Marlborough Sauvignon Blancs do. So it's a little bit more laid back, a little bit more restrained, and in blind tasting, for example, this is what you look for in the Loire. Not as much of that really pungent, and typically Loire, I mean, I get a hint. The bell pepper thing isn't as prevalent in Sauvignon Blancs from the Loire Valley. It's more of a gooseberry character. So on the palate, dry, acidity's high, alcohol's medium, body medium, medium minus, intensity pronounced, Sauvignon Blanc, and finish is medium plus. It's a pleasant bottle of wine. It tastes like Sauvignon Blanc. It tastes like Loire Valley Sauvignon Blanc. In fact, on the palate, there's a nice minerality to it here. The finish is medium. I'm going to back that down. I mean, it's not particularly long. It's got everything that I would expect: the grapefruit, the gooseberry, a little bit of lime, a little bit of that elderflower character, underlying minerality. This is good wine. For $6.99, heck yes, this is a good bottle of wine. Do I recommend it? I do. Trader Joe's for $6.99, Touraine Sauvignon Blanc, Van Noble Lachateau. Yeah, nice little bottle of wine. Next up, 2021. That was the 2023 vintage, by the way. 2021 Chateau La Pirouette Medoc Cru Bourgeois, $7.99. Now, you know, Bordeaux, again, I can't do a whole class on Bordeaux, but Bordeaux, basically the appellation system is Bordeaux, the entire large area. If I source grapes from within the area, I can call the wine AOC Bordeaux. There's then Bordeaux Supérieur, which has a little bit stricter regulations to it. Then there would be regional appellations, such as the Medoc, which is a peninsula on which we call it the left bank. It comes from the Latin medio aquae, which means between the waters. And because you have the Gironde estuary to the east, large tidal estuary, and the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the west. And the Medoc is a peninsula that juts out. And that's where the name comes from. It's pretty interesting. The Medoc is where the left bank vineyards are located. And the highest level of appellation is the village appellations like Pauillac, Saint-Julien, Margaux, etc. So there's regional appellations like Medoc, Grave, etc. And then there's individual village appellations. So this is a regional appellation. There are a lot, in the 1930s, and let me backtrack just a second, there's probably over 1,000 chateaus in Bordeaux. That's how they decided to name their wineries. Sometimes there's a chateau there, sometimes there's not. Sometimes the chateau is grand. It looks like a palace, like Chateau Casse-d'Estournel. Looks like a palace from, ancient times or something. But the chateau-based system is just how they go ahead and name their wineries. And in the 1930s, a couple hundred chateaus were given the status of Cru Bourgeois. And, it's kind of on the heels of the 1855 classification of the great chateaus of the Haut-Médoc. And this was an attempt to create a classification that, covers a couple hundred chateaus. And so if you see a bottle of wine that says Cru Bourgeois, it has passed a certain criteria to be given the status of Cru Bourgeois. So that's always a good sign, and especially for $7.99. I looked this chateau up. It's been around for a while. And, this particular blend is 50% Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Merlot, 8% Petit Verdot, and 2% Malbec. And so if we can find a nice bottle of wine here at this kind of price point, we are in heaven. Let's check it out. This is a medium ruby color. And on the nose, we have corked wine. Smell it. So, corked wine. Unfortunately. So I'm going to have to come back at another time and taste that wine. What do you do with a corked bottle of wine? You should be able to take it back to Trader Joe's. It's the current vintage on the shelf, and trade it for another bottle of wine. So, it happens. It's not, it happens more often than not, but that's too bad. We gotta just ignore that. Again, corked wine, the cork has been infected with a chemical called TCA, and it infects the wine. It smells like moldy cardboard or moldy newspapers in a dark basement with the water running on the floor. Yeah. Okay, next up, 2022, Ténébré, Grenache Syrah Mourvèdre, IGP DOC. So the appellation system in France covers appellation contrôlées, which is the highest level, and then what's called IGP, or Indication Géographique Protégée. And the regulations are a little bit looser. They allow for more varietals, they allow for higher yields, etc. One of the largest ones in France, if not the largest, is called the Languedoc, and it's the south of France, often referred to as the Sud. And in this case, to make it fit on a label, they go DOC, D''OC. Languedoc literally means the language, the tongue, the Languedoc, the language of the Oc, which were the word Occitane or Occitane comes from there. It was the tribe of people who lived in this area before the Romans came along, and this was the language they spoke. All right, so we've got a Grenache roughly 33%, right? 33 and a third. And we've got ourselves a medium purple color, and on the nose, thankfully not corked, rather sweet fruit on the nose, very jammy. And here you get this combination of the Syrah, the Grenache, and the Mourvèdre. So we get the kind of dark blackberry of Syrah, we get the wild strawberry of Grenache, and we get that kind of meaty, dark blueberry, blackberry of Mourvèdre. And so it smells a little confected. It smells a little bit jammy. There's a little bit of an overtone here of very sweet fruit. I don't really get any oak on the wine. There's just all this kind of very, very confected sweet fruit. It smells pleasant enough. Let's see what it tastes like. This wine is off dry. So there's a little bit of residual sugar. I think I looked it up. I think it said that, there's like 8 grams residual sugar here. So that would make this wine off dry, and it tastes like it. It's not unpleasant. And I think that a lot of you might like a wine like this because it's not dry. It's got some residual sugar, and a lot of these wines that are consumed, these red blends, I'm going to do an episode in the future on red blends from California. A lot of them are off dry. I'm gonna be nice. I'm not particularly a huge fan of off dry red wines unless it's called Lambrusco and has some fizz. But it's off dry wine. Acid is medium minus. Again, you might like this. Alcohol is probably on the high end of medium. Surprisingly, 13% is probably higher than that. Body is medium, intensity medium. This is just kind of a medium wine. It's $5.99. On the palate, kind of a confected fruit character, and it's just this kind of jelly. It's like blueberry jelly, blackberry jelly, some strawberry jam, strawberry preserves. It's not particularly complex. The finish is medium at the most, maybe medium minus. Can I recommend it? With reservation. I think the wine's acceptable. I don't. This is a tough one for me. I particularly wouldn't buy it and drink it, but I think that some of you out there might like it. At $5.99, it's probably worth a try, and you can make your own decisions and agree or disagree. I think my tasting notes are accurate, and again, it's not, as I like to say about wines like this, as far as I can tell, it's got alcohol in it and it's non-toxic. Just kidding. So it's up to you. Give it a whirl at $5.99. At the very least, you can make a sauce out of it if you don't like it. Bummer about the Medoc. I will review it at another time because there's plenty of wines at Trader Joe's under $10. I'm going to take it back and trade it for another bottle if I can remember to do so, but I really should do that. I think I kept my receipt. So that's it. Trader Joe wines. Check it out. NeptuneWine.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.